Today we're doing a new look for 2018 called Lived In Straight. So I'm naming it this because I'm really inspired by this new look that I think will be coming in this year, and I think it's going to be amazing because we've been putting a lot of work into getting lived-in curls for a long time. So now I'd like to teach you guys the new thing that I think will be coming, which is lived-in straight. I'm gonna start by turning on the iron, and I'm going to put it on 375 for me today. So on this side I have air dried hair, and on this side I have a fresh blowout. So I did half and half today so you guys could see the difference in your starting point, so you can, like, in case you have natural wave or something, and in case you have really straight hair. So basically with lived in straight, the main thing is to not over straighten everything. What we want is it to be nice and full. So what we want is more of like this blowout look. So the way we're going to achieve that is, you know, if your hair air dries, you're gonna go in. The main thing is you want to keep your angle close so that you can slide down the hair. You don't want to go in at this weird angle, you want to go in at this angle so that your hair slides in line with the iron plates, okay? And then at the end we're going to bump it like that. So we're going to create that little bend like I did with the blowout side on this side. We want the top layer looking nice and straight is the main thing, and then we want the underneath layer to create fullness if it can. The reason I have the brush here is because it helps separate all the pieces. I'm taking really big sections and not super small sections because I don't want to get it too flat. I want it to be just looking silky is basically the goal of this, is to get it looking silky. So you'll notice I'm not being overly picky about getting everything just perfect, right? So for this section under here, because I don't want this lived in straight, right? If I have this much wave under here. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to do a more rough, which means I don't want it to be super silky straight. So I'm removing the brush from my straightening. Sure. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this whole section together and I'm going to bump it out. So I want to create bend here. I don't want it to be super straight. So I took the straightening side and just created bend there. Okay. One of the things that I want you to note is the way I'm sectioning. So I'm sectioning vertically back here because it's most comfortable for me to go in with the iron vertical at this area. Like over here, I want to section horizontally because my iron goes in that way. So it gives your iron the best ability to like create the biggest, you can create the biggest section that will be successful, I think. So I'm going in at vertical sections back here and then moving forward. Some of these techniques you kind of have to learn over time, like how to control the brush with the iron. The trickiest trick, something I've wanted to do for my whole life. I've always tried to incorporate curls and straight together. And now we finally have a way to do it, because what happened was when you're using the traditional curling methods, your hair is really curly. And so now with this iron, you can create, you know, more loose open curls. I'm gonna do the lean back curling method because I think that will be the best curl to incorporate into this. And we're just going to give a little bit of bend. So we're gonna go in and I'm going to just try and put like a real light movement in. And I don't want this bump here, so I'm gonna go in with the straightening side and just smooth that out a bit so I can get rid of that, because I want it to look really like it just naturally formed curl there and movement. And I'm going to go with my lower section too because I have a lot of face frame. Well, I don't have a lot, but I have some that's pretty high up, and I want it to come down into this other area as well. So I'm taking these longer pieces and I'm going to create some movement there as well. So I want to figure out how to adjust this curl because I think this is way more Farrah Fawcett than I was looking for what I wanted to teach you guys today. So let's see if we can get the Farrah Fawcett away and get the more like lean back curl in. Yeah, that's more what I'm going for, I think. Do you see the difference? Like this dips in here, and that's what creates more of that Farrah Fawcett look. And when it doesn't dip in is when it doesn't have as much of that look. So I don't know, you can choose which one you like. Either one will work. I'm just looking for the other look today for what I wanted to teach you guys. if you think you've got too much curl in it or anything, see, this side is really going into exactly what I want. This side, not so much yet. So let me brush it and see if I can get it to do what I want. And if not, we'll adjust it in a little bit. Sometimes you just have to like live in it for a minute and see what comes to be and if it gets to what you're looking for. What you want to try is prep your section really well. So I prefer to pull it in a more vertical section like this. And I like the left side as an easier angle for straightening the back middle rather than the right. Do you see how my arm can't get here very well and it can get here very easily? So that's a subtle trick, but it's really helpful. So what we're gonna do is we're going to section this, pull it out like this. And then we're gonna go in and just go at that more vertical angle, right? And then I'm just gonna walk it slowly through because it's not super comfortable to hold a brush here. So to alleviate that, I'm gonna go just a little bit slower and then I'm gonna roll the bottom to create bend at the bottom. Because I want that fullness, I want that blowout look. I don't want it to be like overly straight for this look. And then I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna take one section lower and I'm going to brush vertically again. And these are bigger sections because I still want that fullness. I don't want it, like the smaller sections you get, the more straight you will get them, especially using a brush. Then we're gonna go in vertical again. I'm gonna go and then round out the bottom. And you don't even have to do the bottom if it's already straight, right? You can just let it go. So now I'm gonna go in. This time you see I'm on the right side. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to go in. I like to get the cord out of the way with my elbow so I don't have to worry about it. So I'm just going in vertically again. Notice I aim down on this side. I'm not trying to go up and in because it just feels awkward to me. I'm sure there's a way to do that if it feels more natural to you. And then I'm gonna go down to the bottom and I'm going to adjust to create that bend there. So now one more thing that is important to this is having volume up here. You can see because this side was air dried, it's more flat to my head. So how do you go in and create more volume for that? So the way you're going to do it is take a horizontal section and you're going to take your plates and kind of elevate it all up. So I'm going to take the heat up and I'm creating volume by doing that. So we just want it to feel like more separated than it was in the beginning. I like the blowout because it will give you more volume always on this side if you do it correctly. And this side you have to like artificially put it in so it will look less natural and it will look less full. But it's a good cheat if you're not really proficient at blowouts. When I straighten, so both times I have my thumb behind the on button and my fingers over the recorder part of the lights, the lights that tell you the temperature. So I have the straightening part. Do you see how that works? So straightening, I come in with the iron or the plate side of the iron, and curling, I come in with the guide side of the iron. So you put your fingers towards your scalp when you're curling, and you put your thumb towards the scalp when you're straightening. So straightening side, I'm gonna go in and I'm going to give more lift to this area, okay? And I'm just gonna let it go because I didn't wanna over straighten. And then curling side, I just go in and I put my fingers towards my scalp on the right and I'm pointing up to the ceiling on the right and I just put a little bit of bend in the bottom. If you're looking specifically for this area for volume, then I would do what I was teaching you, which is go in and put in volume with a little bit of heat, just lifting it off the scalp and letting it cool, lift it off the scalp. That will help.